You see this? You see this? Well, you know how when you're like in the teens and you're getting acne and it's just the worst thing ever, super embarrassing, or so you think at the time, but like you just hate it. It's terrible. You do everything in your power to get rid of it. I have some good news for you. When you get older, it doesn't go away. I am still to this day breaking out, and drives me freaking crazy. That has nothing to do with the video, but I just thought I would share with you. My name is Will. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to go over a comparison shoot that I did using the R6 Mark II and the R5 Mark I, which I'm filming there now. Now you might think, well, why aren't you using the R5 Mark II? Well, I don't have the R5 Mark II because no one sends it to me for free, and I can't afford to buy it to do tests on it. Plus, I love my R5 Mark I and it works great, so why upgrade? So we're going to do the test between the R5 and the R6 because I got the R6 Mark II as a backup camera for when I shoot weddings. And I just felt like I personally didn't like it as much as my R5. Now, maybe that was completely subjective, and because I'm just so used to the R5 and the setups and the buttons and all that stuff, or maybe not. There is a focus feature on the R6 Mark II that is different than the R5, and maybe that's user error, so maybe you can comment below and let me know how to fix this, but we'll get into that once we get a little bit farther into the video. So I went out on a shoot the other day using the two cameras, and the two lenses I was using was the RF 2870 f2 and the EF 50mm 1.8 with the adapter, so it worked on both cameras because I don't have the RF one. But I wanted to take the same photos with both cameras and both lenses. That way we could really get a difference and see what was going on. Now, to keep this video relatively simple and kind of to jump to the conclusion here, both cameras for photo operated amazing. Honestly, when I was taking photos of the model using the exact same lens and the exact same settings and the exact same setup, I really didn't notice any technical difference. The back of the screens were all the same. The photos looked the same with the same lenses. The bokeh looked the same. Taking them into Lightroom and looking at them close up, I really didn't notice any real difference, even though one is 45 megapixels, the R5, and one is 24 megapixels, the R6 Mark II. And realistically, you won't unless you are blowing these images up super, super large. So one of the main points of difference here is, are you doing photo and video or just photo? And then price. Because if you're shooting photo pretty much the whole time and you're never doing video, the R6 Mark II is probably totally fine for you. Where if you're shooting a lot of video and you need that, well, the R5 might be better for you. Now, I did lots of different examples using both lenses on both cameras, really trying to see if I could find a problem. Now, I did discover one problem, which was hilarious. I took these two photos and I realized this one, they're exact same settings, and I realized this one was super bright and this one was perfectly exposed, and I had no idea. The super exposed one was the RF 2870 on the R6, and the super overexposed one was the 51.8 on the R5, and I could not figure out why until I realized it was complete user error and I have the ND filter on the F2. So that was funny. I didn't really want to put that in the video, but you know what? We all make mistakes, so I like to show that as well. But it had baffled me for like at least 30 seconds until I, mentally caught up to why that was. Now, if we go into Lightroom and look at them side by side, here are the raw images. These are both cameras shot on the same lens with the same exact settings, and they look pretty much identical. Now, if we apply the exact same edit, again, same everything. So if you look here at the top, you'll see you have the R5 on the right and you have the R6 on the left. You'll notice all the settings are the exact same. The lens is the exact same. Everything is identical. But if you look immediately, you can see a slight difference in color. The R6 looks brighter. The R5 looks a little bit more muted in colors. Now, that might simply be because of the extra megapixels. There's more details, there's more information to work with. So when you're adjusting the colors, you do get a little bit difference in the color change. But that is adjustable. I mean, that is simply handleable by, I just up the exposure on the R5 one and it's totally fine. Or I lower the exposure on the R6 one and it's totally fine. But they're exactly the same. I literally copy and pasted the settings. If we zoom in on the face, they look pretty freaking good. Here, we'll zoom in a little bit more. Okay, let's look at the eye. Obviously, the R5 is a little bit more cropped in, so you get a little bit closer on the zoom in. but the detail wise looks really, really nice. The eye looks great on both. And again, this is shot a little bit back. You can tell the R5 is a little bit closer, maybe at a little bit lower angle as well. But it's very hard to get the exact same picture with two people moving and changing lenses and all that, either way. But this just gives you a good look of how these images come out. Now, I did tons of photos, and summary-wise, I think you're good with both. Now, the one thing that I like that the R5 has and the R6 doesn't is an autofocus setting. When you're in the R6 and you click, and I'll put this up on the screen, but if you click the focus locations, you have all of these options. Now, they look very similar to the R5, but on the spot focus, if you click that on the R5 with eye detection on, it immediately will just have a detect eye. There is an additional spot focus one for this. To do the blanket eye detection, you have to go to the whole screen, whole area autofocus, and then it finds the eye. I like that the R5 has the ability to select just eye focus because the whole area autofocus is not as good. I have had it where the R6 will jump focus and it won't find the eye as well as the R5. This is very important for me because when I'm shooting weddings or shooting people from a little bit farther away with other distractions, the R5's autofocus tends to work better. Now again, maybe this is a user error, so if you know something I don't, please let me know, but I'm fully updated on all of my firmware on all my cameras, and it just seems to be the one bug that I do not like. Now, to be completely honest, when I get another camera, most likely something new will be out that I'll get. However, I would get another R5 because I love that camera so much, and I do like it a little bit better than the R6. It is 100% a personal preference because I've had tons of people who like the R6 more. Also, the price, it's like half the cost, so that's kind of awesome. I would love to hear your thoughts on it. Either way, both cameras are phenomenal and you can't go wrong with either. And that wraps up this video. So hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't already. I have a couple of videos right here that you should check out because they're really cool. But other than that, happy Valentine's Day, which was Friday, and I'll see you in the next video. Later.